Hey everybody, how's it going? Um, I know it's only been a week since I put a video up. I'm gonna try to make a habit of this, hopefully, God willing. But our house is full of people right now, and their family, we love them, but they just bought a new house, and so all their stuff is in our house. And until now, the place has been so full of people. I mean, honestly, I don't want to be talking on the camera to people and saying stuff like this, talking to an inanimate object. um, with people around, I feel self-conscious. Does that make sense? Um, so, here we are. Just in case this is the first video you've seen of mine, my name is Emily. And I am a born-again Christian. I know it sounds like an AA meeting. I'm Emily and I'm born-again Christian. But I'm actually really happy to be a born-again Christian. It's a good thing. Today I'd like to share with you what I call my castle dream. It's actually one of my more recent dreams. And hopefully pretty soon I'll be able to share with you this other dream. It's crazy. It's about shopping and stuff. I know shopping, right? But this one has some shopping in it, but not really. I'm not a big shopper. I'm not. Now, if you set me loose in like a hobby shop or something like that, kiss the money goodbye. I like to crochet. But okay. Well, first I'm going to do a little bit of reading and then I'll try to explain things to you. All right. My castle dream. Now this one's a little weird. It's a little out there, but it's kind of cool. The part that before it becomes a God dream, I'll explain that to you. There was a lot of, this is how you recognize the difference between a human dream and a God dream. Human dreams, just where your mind is just, running and running and spewing stuff out. Human dreams are, how do I explain, nonsensical. They just, your brain's just babbling. So in the early parts of this dream, before it focused and became me listening to God, before it became a message that was of great importance, it was, me and a whole bunch of people on my favorite television show, who were, we were all running around and avoiding being caught by something I don't even remember, and it was dark and there was a waterfall. None of it made any sense. And then suddenly I'm in an apartment. Okay. It's the same dream, and I knew that it had the same flavor, but it suddenly was logical. Okay. I'm in an apartment. It was kind of like a tenement almost, but not a very nice one at all. I mean, I don't even know if there really are nice tenements out there, but maybe there are. I don't know. Who cares? But I was, how do I explain? I had my apartment, and then there were my neighbors, and I had family, like my mom had hers, and my sister had hers, and just people I knew, and we all knew each other, and we hung out as a community because there was nothing else to do. Okay. There's nothing else to do. It was, it was really just a very plain kind of a backdrop. Okay. Everything, like all the apartments were white. We were out in the middle of the plains, east of the Rockies, so east of the foothills of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. Okay. And I know that because of the way the landscape looked. I've been here most of my life. I know Colorado pretty well. And there's a certain type of grass, and it's very brown during the wintertime, and it's kind of brown during the summertime. I don't know why they call it colorful here. We have red rocks and brown grass. um, but you know, everybody's lawns are nice and green when we've had good rain. So there's that. Um, okay, so all right, so there's the landscape. And when I stepped out the front door of the apartment complex and looked off to my left, that was the west. Okay. The apartments faced north. When you walk outside, you're facing north, which is strangely important. What? Was my cat. Sassy. Come say hi. So, excuse me. Hi. Come here, you. This is Sassy. She's a pain in the butt. Okay, so I walk out of the apartment and I'm facing north, right? And I face east if I turn right. Okay, so you have my thing there. Now we're out in the middle of the plains. Now normally out in this particular area there are houses, there's a huge city, there's all sorts of interesting stuff out there. Okay, roads and all of that. But in this, we were the only thing out there. There were no stores. There was nothing but the apartment complex, except up north and over a lot of hills, like little tiny hilly things. Okay, I'm not talking, you know, big hills, you know, like, you know, that you would have to, you know, you could walk over these hills quite comfortably. Okay, so they were more like mounds, ripples in the ground. There was a castle. And it wasn't like you might think an old medieval castle would be, okay? It's an old school castle, but it's more like one that didn't need a moat. There's no keeping wall, you know, and it's just, you know, a really big house made of stone. And very pretty. I'm putting her down. She's distracting me. Now you hush. Stop. Okay, so this castle belonged, well, was rightfully the property of one of my friends who lived in one of these apartments now, which I found to be a little odd, until we went to the castle. Now, the thing was that, you know, there was a little kid there, a little boy. He was somebody's little boy. He wasn't mine. And he was probably 7 or 8 years old, okay? And he was saying he was hungry and it was breakfast time. And I was like, I'm craving grits, hominy grits, okay? So, you know, if you don't know what they are, look them up. It's kind of like a hot cereal, okay? So anyways, I was craving hominy grits and I wanted the white hominy grits because they're sweeter. I don't know how to explain it, but they are. There's yellow corn and white corn, and that's what I've written here. And I'm going to be reading to you here, so it's going to get a little weird. So now that you know the backdrop, now that you know everything, this dream is going to take 2 parts. All right, so I had a dream that someone dark and abusive had taken over a castle in the foothills of Colorado. In it, he filled doorways and rooms with spires of magically created ice. Now, magic is something only evil does, remember? God creates, all right, God creates from nature, from himself. What he creates is good. This magic was evil, okay? So I entered this castle in search of food as the world outside was lacking certain things, a lot of things. This creature had taken so much when he took over. I landed in a room that had once been beautiful but was now full of ice chunks that had been broken through and thus barred the doorways. How do I explain this? Have you ever seen Poltergeist? Well, there's a part in Poltergeist where this membrane is wrapping around the children's bedroom door, and there are these slimy pink fleshy things that are kind of sticking out through the door and all that. It's kind of what this ice looked like. I'm sorry, but that's what it looked like. like ice blown sideways. You know, like stalagmites made of ice, except it was kind of coming in sideways instead of straight down. Interesting. Okay. The doors were slanted inward as the ice had been forced in from the outside. Okay. This is how he imprisoned those he brought to the castle. I climbed in through the rubble and found myself in a pocket of shadows. Okay, so it was like a corner. Okay, so, you know, and I hid in the corner and looked out. I stopped there and observed the people meandering through the hallway outside of the room I was in. Okay, they were very depressed. They were chained but able to walk around as the chains were attached. As the chains were attached to huge pulleys on the floor that allowed a person to walk all around the building, but they could never leave. Okay, interesting. You would think, I don't know, that's strange. I never saw any guards, but I knew they were being watched. Not everyone was chained, however. I discovered that as I walked down the hallway trying to look like one of them. I was wearing a winter jacket with a hood, so I covered my face, struck a wide stance, and began to hobble as though I were crippled. Okay? And I don't exactly know why. Apparently being crippled was more convincing than being healthy. Because if I'm healthy and confident, you know, I have kind of a strut, and not an egotistical one, but one that I learned from all the running and everything. You carry yourself a certain way in sports. Those of you who are athletic will know what I mean, especially when you're a dancer. That's a big one. In dancing, I learned to carry myself, so I had that strut, so I had to change that stance. Okay. I moved along unnoticed until I got to a store. Inside, there was a small Chinese woman and a man of unknown race. He was burying himself. He pretty much was, but he was busying himself with chores behind the counter. As in all dreams, people in my life suddenly appeared beside me as if they'd been there the whole time. My mom, because I had gone in alone, but suddenly there were people. My mom was standing on my right. She had the majority of the cash. All we wanted was a bag of hominy grits. There were two varieties, white and yellow. Sassy! I'm so sorry if you can hear that. She has kidney disease, so she's achy. Anyway. Oh, my poor baby. I'm not into corn all that much, so I insisted the white grits numerous times, okay? I don't want yellow grits. It's too corn-like. It was important for me, for some reason or other, that the grits be white. This meant that the brand of the grits had to be changed from the more domestic American brand to an Asian brand. You know they had hominy grits in Asia. Mom insisted they were fine, just not the ones we were used to. She paid $6 for the grits. Okay, she paid $6 for the grits. Remember that number 6 is big. 4, 6, and 7 are big numbers in the Bible. Specifically 666, which is the mark of the beast. It's signifying the Antichrist. Okay. I gave her $4 of my cash, and we left. Mom was replaced by my sister. It was just suddenly Mom became my sister. All right. Okay, we've got 1 minute, and then I'm going to have to switch it over. Mom was replaced by my sister, and a tall man I knew in the dream, the guy who owned the castle, by the way, but did not know in real life, ran ahead of us. He led us back into the ice room so that we could leave, because he knew the place. This was his house, but for some reason he wasn't trying to reclaim it. He was just with us as a guide. Interesting. All right. This time we found an area of the room that was populated. I'd missed it before because I came in through the ceiling. People watched in deadpan curiosity as we climbed up onto the couch and began And as we climbed up onto the couch and began to climb up to a hole in the roof. All right. All right. See you in a minute.